the stuff going on in Iran today and the last 24 hours is, yeah, here it is. Okay, here's time. This is the final actual thing. Mossad is saying that Israel is saying that Mossad carried out Iran defense facility strikes for Israel's own interests. U.S. officials tell the New York Times drone attack was not aimed at stopping weapons exports to Russia. Bennett says he intensified Iran strikes after plot to kill Israelis in Turkey and Cyprus. The drone attack on the defense facility in the Iranian city of Isfahan was carried out by Israel to protect its own security interests and not to prevent weapons exports to Russia, according to a New York Times report on Sunday. The Saturday strike was carried out by the Mossad intelligence agency. The report noted that Isfahan is a hub for Tehran's missile industry and is where the Shahab medium-range missile, which was range capable of hitting Israel, is assembled. Iran has yet to deliver missiles to Russia, despite reports since October it plans to do so, but Tehran has been supplying the Shahed 136 suicide drones for the Kremlin's use in the nearly year-long invasion of Ukraine. The kamikaze drones have been deployed, blah, 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 we know this. An Iranian Defense Ministry statement described 3 drones being launched at the facility on Saturday, with 2 of them successfully shot down, a third apparently making it through the strike to the building, causing minor damage to its roof and wounding no one. Yeah, that's not what the pictures show, but fine. Let's see. Later, the drones were quadcopters equipped with bomblets. Quadcopters, which get their name from having 4 rotors. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The drones have been used in past attacks. U.S. officials said on Sunday that Washington was not behind the strike. Blah, blah, blah. So that was the general thought. Like, Israel did this for themselves. And the idea was, did they do it because they were... Pakistan got a church bombed, killing a bunch? Yeah. Yeah, so Mossad pulled this off. But... it's abundantly clear that they didn't ask permission of the United States to do it. They in no way was it a coordinated attack. They don't even want to say that. Oh, Cindy Williams passed away. Oh, that's sad. Sorry to hear that. Then This is the kind of standard by which, here you go. This is Kyle Kulinski. Kyle is like I don't know, like the EDM version of Jimmy Dore. Kyle's a bit of a broken clock. He can be right twice a day, but the rest of his stuff is just kind of like, he was one of the, like he's all over the map, and like the ignorance is just terrifying at times. But he's got a huge following. I mean, he's got almost 1 million subscribers and a brand new dye job, so good for him. And he's got his is it the ear pierce is recent? I don't know. Is he? We'll see. Anyways, this is if I may, this is his take on Israel on their own striking Iran and admitting to it and saying our intelligence service carried it out because of attacks on our citizens, and that the U.S. isn't telling us to do it. And by the way, didn't primarily focusing on the missile factory that attacks them. But here you go.
Everybody's paying attention to what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. We just got World War III watch from a totally different direction. So,
also, the idea that that makes it World War III when tacit fights like this have been happening in the Middle East forever is absurd. Is it like literally strikes like the 6-Day War happened fucking during the Cold War when everybody was like, we're this close to World War III.
So, Wall Street Journal is reporting that
everything's fucking World War III now.
Strikes hit 2 locations in Iran.
I'd like to say, by the way, who is he? Look who he's the tweet that he holds up. Is it
totally
David Frum?
Different direction. So,
yeah, David fucking Frum. Like, definitely a never Trumper, but not exactly like, what? This is where you got the news from? This is what showed up in your feed, I suppose?
Wall Street Journal.
He doesn't follow him, but he's sourcing him. Whatever.
Is reporting that strikes hit 2 locations in Iran, including a weapons factory in Isfahan and an oil refinery near Tabriz.
Also, they hit a caravan of and the Iranian Royal Guard. They're their headquarters were leveled, and they blew up a caravan of those people either leaving the place or on their way someplace.
So,
that was after this.
yeah, that's not good. So Iran was attacked. That's the gist of what happened here. Somebody bombed Iran. So, article
It must have been us.
from The Guardian here says, drone attacks target Iranian defense factory as global tensions rise. Isfahan blast came as refinery fire broke out in country's northwest and 5.9 magnitude quake hit. Oh, so throw a little earthquake in just as a little cherry on top here.
Yes, obviously a DARPA mission, probably U.S., probably a Jewish space laser.
If things weren't bad enough. Bomb-carrying drones targeted an Iranian defense factory in the central city of Isfahan overnight, authorities have said, causing damage at the plant amid heightened regional and international tensions engulfing the Islamic Republic. The Iranian Defense Ministry offered no information on who it suspected carried out the attack, which came as a refinery fire separately broke out in the country's northwest and a 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck nearby, killing 3 people. Tehran has been targeted by suspected Israeli drone strikes amid a shadow war with its Middle Eastern rival as its nuclear deal with world powers collapsed. Meanwhile, tensions remain high with neighboring Azerbaijan after a gunman attacked the country's embassy in Tehran. Jesus. Killing its security.
This is all new to him?
Chief and wounding 2 others.
Because I mean, I guess he live streams or whatever, but doesn't he set these stories up ahead of time?
Details on the Isfahan attack, which happened at about 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, remain scarce. A defense ministry statement fully shot, the ministry said. Mobile home T-Air building. Since this article came out, we already have verification from the U.S. where they were kind of like, yeah, you know, we're going to go ahead and say it was, Israel. Israel's behind this one. I'm not, I mean, it is Israel.
By the way, that I don't know if this is just like the bro conversation that he thinks actually happens, but that's unnamed officials were cited in stories. This is what he's talking about, saying they believed it to be Israel. They're sure it was Israel.
So there's an admission. Hey,
was not an admission. It was not an overt admission. There are people in the whoever the New York Times sourced said they believe it to be Israel. It's that simple, like any other news story.
That's what's going on here. Now, I don't know if Israel said anything yet, but this is, I mean, there's been...
By the way, I just showed you the article. Since then, they have said.
Previous instances of Israel doing similar things. So...
like the 6-Day War?
I love how, like... a lot...
Here comes the wind-up.
A lot of... the U.S. and a lot of our allies, we will just flat out do an act of war and then act like... Who, me, bro? I don't even do... Yeah. See, I didn't even do anything wrong. You might think I did.
Yeah. Russia attacks Ukraine, biggest land war in Europe since World War II. And this is a habit of the United States and our allies. Why did Ukraine invade their own country and drive out... Who's that guy? This is Kyle Kulinski. This is a guy's secular talk. He's a big lefty talker. He's got a big audience. Been around for quite some time. He did the Justice Democrats with Cenk and had to be there when they had to kick Cenk out for being gross. And the idea is, like, again, this is all about, like, whatever it is, it'll boil down to the CIA did this. It's the same Jimmy Dore bullshit. It's just he's just, I don't know if this is just, like I said, he's the EDM Jimmy Dore these days.
Something wrong, but I just did this is some normal stuff and things. Like, this isn't even a thing, bro. It's like I didn't even do anything, basically.
And that's not at all what the U.S. response was. Obviously, they were holding their criticism until they found out who it was, and they've been talking to Israel about this. But Israel came out and frankly said, we did it for our own security because they killed these people and they did this. It has nothing to do with the U.S. and Ukraine, none of that business.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how do you square that circle in your own mind?
By looking at Russia and China and what the Russians do in Ukraine and what the Chinese are doing in Xinjiang and in other regions and the debt slavery they have Africa and parts of the Middle East in. Like that.
This is like a wanton act of aggression here. You can't.
Or a response to Iran backing terrorists that are attacking them and back again. I love how people love to, especially in the Middle East, which has been just on fire for fucking ever, that everybody wants to come in and needle drop wherever they think shit started, and they can be right from this point on.
Can't do this, because if you flip the roles, if Iran goes, to Tel Aviv and just bombs a weapons facility, how do you think Israel's going to react? They're going to go to high alert. They're going to say this is World War III. They're going to scramble the fighter jets. They're going to get the ground troops ready.
No, they'll shoot it out of the sky because of the Iron Dome, more than likely. But also, they would be at war with Iran, which is why Iran hasn't done it. The problem is they're building up to the point where Israel is worried they will get to that point. So they just decided after they'd killed, individuals and Israeli citizens that they would hit that.
Ready. They're going to call Washington cry. World War III has begun.
I don't know what that means. I think that's one of Lee Camp's bits he's doing now.
We do it to them, and we're
we do it to them. Israel didn't inform the United States. And I think he believes, like many people, no doubt, that we share intelligence and because we're allies. But that doesn't mean they're going to tip us off to it, because quite frankly, there are still a lot of Trumpies throughout the military establishment that are favorable to Israel on a greater scale and on a lesser scale, and who might tell the wrong person even if they just blab to their their installed Russian wife.
Beautiful day outside, isn't it, boys? Yeah. We weren't even doing anything weird or wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I mean, it's incredible, because this reminds me of what the U.S. did to General Soleimani. You guys remember?
Yeah, poor General Soleimani. Okay, Soleimani, by the way, you'll recall there was a lot of outrage in the United States when Trump did a strike on him just to be fucking macho. Guy was on it. He was in Iraq on his way to an airport, not engaged in military activity, just decided to hit him. Just decided, fuck this guy. He's in this particular territory. We know where he is, and decided to kill him. He's a general in an army attached to a nation state, not a rogue terrorist. And the idea that the Iranian Royal Guard or whatever is a terrorist organization has long been debated. And of course, it's more the Iranian government that finances terror throughout the Middle East in their constant proxy wars with Saudi Arabia, quite frankly.
Remember this? We murked General Soleimani.
I don't know what murked means. He was hit with a drone strike. We didn't send in fucking Steven Seagal and a bunch of dudes with those little throat adapters that allow you to talk. We didn't murk him. He was blown up from the sky.
This is a guy who was on the ground, Iranian commander, fighting
like every other human being who's on the ground, all the non-flying humans in the world.
ISIS, and we murked him. We murked him.
We murked him. I don't know what that means. We did not murk him. Again, he was hit with a missile. Also, on the ground fighting ISIS, no, he wasn't. We have a tacit agreement against, ISIS in particular, with both like the Syrians and the Russians and the Turks and everybody, because ISIS is a particular part, level of bad. But he was not even Trump was not in this position where an enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And then Trump did that and acted like there's no such thing as blowback or consequences for our actions. And then
yeah, but that's Trump. The rest of us were like, that's fucking stupid.
Of course, in turn, Iran started firing on some U.S. military bases. There was some weird
or some shit. I don't know. They hit something through things, and then there was a thing, and then
tit for tat going on back and forth.
Yeah, we killed that guy, and then World War 2.5 beta started.
It's like, of course this was going to happen. You absolute ghouls. You absolute total stupid people. You morons.
Okay, that's clear. Again, most Americans that I know reacted to Trump doing this like, what the fuck are you doing?
And so Israel does this. By the way, look, keep it real. I don't think Israel does this without a little bit of a wink and a nod from America. Like, hey, man, it's your business. You do your thing. Because a U.S. president could keep an Israeli prime minister in check, just to be.
Yeah. Everybody's just a slave to the CIA, and including the president. So.
Be like, hey, dog.
Yeah, that's how he says. A dog. Fucking.
Reel it in a little bit. You're getting a little bit out over your skis. And remember, we prop your ass up. I mean, the Israeli military is as powerful as it is because of backing from the United States. Because of our money. We give them Iron Dome, for example. So.
No, we don't. They built that. We helped fund them. But they built the Iron Dome. That's just silly. Also, a dog. Secondly, like, the idea that if, by the way, he knows full well, he has to, that if we didn't back Israel, they would have been wiped off the fucking earth after World War II, just as they'd gotten off the ground. The minute Israel was established as a state, if the United States and the UK and most of Europe didn't back them and protect them for a good long while, they would have been destroyed mercilessly a long time ago.
I mean, Biden was probably half asleep, all Xanaxed out, and he's like,
Why does he need a Xanax if he's half asleep if he's old? This is an old joke. This is one of these, like, he's old and I don't know where anything is.
Oh, what? Okay, Iran is bad. You want to take the weapons, then get the weapons.
Yeah, I don't. Again, sweet. This was apparently worth posting.
And here we are.
Yes, here we are. Where are we? We're here. It's Monday. It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock on a Monday. Yeah, here we are. Where are you?
Look, this is not good, man. This is not good. Because now what?
Officially, Kyle Kulinski. Iran thing, not good. Could lead to bad stuff. But who knows, shrug.
Now what? Now what's Iran going to do? Are they just going to sit there and take it? They're just going to sit there and bleed? Or are they going to say, all right, well, we got to do something in return?
Yes, and I'm sure Israel hasn't thought any of that through.
And then you're off to the races yet again. So
yeah, it's almost like the Middle East is a constant spiral of violence between multiple countries.
As we have Ukraine and Russia as a major issue happening.
It's a major issue. This is anybody who's apologizing for Russia will call it the situation in Ukraine or the issue.
Major issue on the world stage.
Yeah, it's an issue on the world stage. Somebody forgot their lines. The props are all missing.
As we have that already.
Yeah, dude, I can't think about two things I know nothing about at once. Bro.
Now we also get this.
Yeah, like how am I supposed to even, like, I gotta read or something?
Yeah, why not attack North Korea for shits and giggles while we're at it, by the way? Just throw that in there. Why not? Why not?
Who? Us or Israel? I don't think Israel has a yeah, I don't really have a dog in that fight.
I mean, we're going out with a bang here.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's basically nuclear war. It's just been declared or whatever. Apparently this is a video from the future.
We're like trying to make it Russian roulette for the apocalypse is what we're going for. That's what we're trying for. So anyway,
yeah. So in case you missed this, if I can sum up, because Israel retaliated against Iran for murdering its citizens in Turkey and other places, according to Israel. But I mean, who are you going to believe? The doomsday clock moved forward because he thinks so, and that because he knows very little about anything that happened before this happened between those two countries, except for they don't like each other, that means brand new reality. So therefore, that'll trigger nuclear war, and we're all going to die. And also random. It's random. That's the key in this, because. And I want you to watch out. This isn't special to Kyle here, although he is very special. You will see a lot of people act like circumstances are devoid of meaning. Glenn Beck does this all the time. What is this about? It makes no sense. There's a specific reason why, they're talking to ignorant people, but there's also another reason why people make up, especially if they're pro-Russia in this situation, or in this case, I guess, anti-Israel, if he's rooting for Soleimani. that by saying none of this makes sense and it's out of the blue and this is crazy and it's just, the idea is that the only answer then, if it's out of the blue and there's no context whatsoever, is that it must be that those people, the Ukrainians, for example, were murderous and brought this on themselves. Because this makes no sense. Not that it's just an insane tactic from Russia for the goals that it purports to have. It's just, and it's grotesque in its genocidal nature. It's not just that. It's beyond that. It's that the more I can make you think things are senseless, then the people involved have no sense, and therefore they're animals. It is a form of effectively political dehumanization. And the doom sprayers are using this like, man, they're endangering us, and I don't even know what they want. Like, and the intentional ignoring of the human lives that are being lost in Ukraine over this, and that the Russians are doing it so wantonly, and the Russian lives that they are just throwing into a fucking meat grinder, shows a level of detachment that I think is kind of present in the appearance here. I don't know what the shift was. He seemed kind of, I don't know, maybe he's upscaling. Maybe he's back on the market, ladies. But this is he posted this 2 hours ago. It has 12,000 views. And you're right. Nothing was said. A couple of pieces of information read from a website. No opinion other than, what the hell? And I'm just going to tell you straight out that I hope that through this show, that some of what I give you is, well, in fact, this the hell. That not being aware of the details in something, not being aware of the history of something, not being aware of, by the way, even places where the history does not pertain to the current reality. It's used to mask the current conflict by going, this has been going on forever, that kind of stuff. That somehow that kind of washes everything and goes, well, none of this means anything. It's just Hatfield McCoy shit. And so we can't find, there's no interrupt point where we can start moving in a direction towards stability, or that it's even a positive. Everybody down there is just nuts. And that, especially around the Russia-Ukraine war. And you see a bunch of this on the faux-gressives and the overlap between the faux-gressives and the Trumpies and Don Jr. and that. And you'll see that their talking points are like, what? I mean, there's very little difference, for the record, between the content of this video and the content of this video. They're almost identical in their attitude towards the circumstance. I challenge you to find any real difference between those two people in their take on the Ukraine war, or quite frankly, even on, Israeli-Palestinian politics, or anything else for that matter. My big fat hipster tanky wedding. Seriously. Maybe you need to dig up a Miami Vice look. I do have one of those old linen suits somewhere. I don't think it fits me anymore because my shoulders have gotten bigger. But I wanted to point those two clips out at the end of the show, because I've gone over anyways, as a way of helping you recognize that one of the things people will do is drop things like, this has gone too far. It's, it makes no sense when by the details, it absolutely does. Sensible people sitting there will go, this is different from what you're talking about. I understand that you're categorizing, but you're doing it from a distance, and you're not paying attention to the people on the ground, the individuals, the circumstances actually going on. And when you do that, it can be accidental because you can't be bothered and you're overwhelmed. But when you're in the media, and that's what these fuckers are, they're in the media. They are selling themselves as philosophical and political proselytizers who know the issues and are authorities as such because of it. They are actively presenting themselves as authorities. And when people do that and their message is, the reason they're doing that is because the side they're on is losing, and the side that's winning, they want to make it look either futile, worthless, or make sure that you don't know whether you're on the right side if you're on the opposite side from them. That you start questioning where you are. It's a subtle propaganda technique. People use that as a big word, but individuals do it too, to fucking butter their bread on both sides. And Merc was popular in the early 2000s. It was. I think he's talking about a merkin. I think they just a pubic toupee. Apparently Trump tried to put it's gaslighting essentially. But it's more subtle than that. It's almost like I'm with you in how crazy things are. Gaslighting specifically is telling you something that's the opposite of what you're seeing. These guys are like, they're sucking the meaning out of something very important, something that's involving real lives and real circumstances, and they're making it, they're shrugging it off. And they don't do that when they're doing well. They do it when the side that there is, Merc is slang for murder. I'm sorry, I don't speak douchebag. I guess like mercenary, Merc, M-E-R-C. Is that what you're saying? That's what I mean, is that there's a difference. We drone strike the dude. But anyways, the point is that you're going to see a lot more of that. This is all like when Don Jr. was going, this has to end stat. Same shit. Same shit as Kyle Kulinski saying we got shoved into World War III. Yeah. So be on the lookout is all I'm saying. Be on the lookout for people where there are details. And Greg Kelly's bit about the Pelosi thing where he's like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense when it absolutely fucking makes sense. Between what you know and what you can't possibly know, reality exists without your permission. And because there are things you can't possibly know because you're not in the circumstance, and there are things that you know that obviously refute any bullshit theories you come up with, then clearly you are manipulating the truth. And it's something I'm seeing a lot in right-wing media and around the Scott Ritters of the world. And I'm going to look forward to discussing this with Philip Ittner on Thursday or on Wednesday. But so much of this is people losing their grasp on not only whatever their philosophy is, like that they're losing, they're on the losing side of something, or their argument is fading, or being outnumbered, or people are just fucking, quite frankly, getting bored with it like they are with Trump. It's also, I don't know that they're attached to it. I think they're attached to some sort of material wealth that they might get from proselytizing it, but they've lost interest in trying to sell it hard. Because if you want to be a true flim-flam, beat the reads Alex Jones, you cover your table in paper, you pull details out of fucking nowhere. He doesn't do it anymore either. He's totally fucking lazy. But the illusion of having all that paper laid out makes it sound like he's been doing the reading, which he or look like he's been doing the reading, which he has not. But when you're just in the business of cranking out bullshit like these dipshits, which is the exact same message in regard to Ukraine, in regard to Israel, though Don Jr., I think, would just pretend to be on Israel's side because that's a thing in right-wing politics without even knowing what the fuck he's talking about, ever.